Hey Dan, how's it going?
Good.
I'm good.
Welcome to Valery, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you on board. So the objective of these, you're the first one that I'm doing,
Oh,
so
amazing.
it should be very awkward.
Okay.
The objective of these is to get to know our agents, right? And to
Right.
showcase. I mean, like we never really talk about like what in your life led you to this point in your career.
Right.
What makes you qualified to be of exceptional service to your customers, right? So
This
First-
is a better way for people to
I think so. It's
get
an
to
easier
know
way
it
to
instead
know.
of reading my bio.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
For the, some people like it's simple, right?
Correct.
Digesting.
And you can stop, put it in a shorter
Yeah.
form, right? So. Awesome.
Yeah, so tell me who you are and tell me why you decided to get into real estate.
Okay. So my full name is Muhammad Awais Nasir, and my friends call me Awais. Now I basically have a finance background. Worked in, believe it or not, third-party collections before. Yeah.
What
So
about that, right?
yeah.
Many people who are hated more than realtors.
yes, that's it. Well, we were loved till like 2022.
Yeah.
You know, so before that, so I've had experience with dealing, with people going through difficult situations and figuring that out, and giving them a way to solve their problems, and that's the skill I took. And then naturally, I was never shy, or had a good knack of like meeting people, never shy of asking a random person questions, whatever. So I took that problem solving together, and I one day somebody showed up at our house to sell my parents' house. They wanted to move from Markham, and then move to somewhere else, so they called a realtor. And at that time, I was working collections. I had no idea what real estate was, but I knew that they were making, every realtor I saw, too much money, right? And I was like, okay, I can work in collections and take the pathway of going in, 9 to 5, and taking that path. But then it wasn't just about the money. It was more, I always loved interior design. I always loved, just homes in general,
Yeah.
and like making it a livable place. And we've moved around a lot, by the way. So I'm from Pakistan, moved to Windsor, from Windsor to Markham to Mississauga, and now I live in Bowmanville. So all that moving, I know the experience where it becomes difficult to move.
Right.
Then finding the home, then living in there, and and then the community. So I took all of that, and then when I met the realtor, he just like, you'd be a natural, just the way I approached them and spoke with them and so forth, and I was really interested. So that was the connection we made there, and then now I'm here, basically. I think 5-6 years, or almost more than 6 years, I've been in real estate.
Yeah.
So I ended up basically selling my parents' condo
Okay.
because we waited till I got my license,
Yeah.
and I joined his team,
Nice.
and then my first sale was my parents' home,
Nice.
and then that's it. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
That's how I got in.
Yeah. Yeah.
How I stayed in is a different story, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, why don't you just tell me that story? You can ask the questions.
Yeah, I guess. So what has happened is, after that, I started to notice that I was going on a lot of like showings and buyers and dealing with that and so forth. And what intrigued me more, because I have a financial background, one day I came across a client who was like, "Can you find me a home?" or asked me, how can you make money in real estate, like as an investment? And I said, stay in your home for 5 years, it will build equity, and then sell, and then that's how you make
It
it.
worked for 20 years.
And it's the long way, the safe way, and that's the right way in my opinion. Most people should be in that category where they buy maybe just one home and then.
Yeah, I guess most Canadians need like a savings vehicle, right? Like
Correct,
a-
correct.
Owning a house is a good way for Canadians to save money, because otherwise you're not very good at saving money.
Not at all. Not at all. We're not. Plus, we have no other way of investing in Canada.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna buy? Like if you have 100,000, what are you gonna do?
Bank
with it?
stocks.
Bank stocks, right? And then
Banks are lending money to the real estate industry anyway.
Correct,
Either way,
correct.
you're getting real estate.
Exactly. So the end goal was that, and I saw that people were, flipping and all this crazy stuff and all that. So it really intrigued me, and I was like, I'm a realtor already. Why am I not exposed to all of this? And so I ended up basically going on Facebook, looking at, attended a gazillion, seminars and this and that, and just trying to get all the information I could. It was pretty kept, in my opinion, but then, going through the right coaches and so forth, I got introduced to the real estate investing side. Nice. And that's where I really, I would say, thrived because the financial background I had plugged into my analytical skills, and then of course at the end of the day, this whole transaction, there's a human at the end of it, right? So I always knew that the end goal is to create more housing. I'm sure the investors are in for that as well. So matching both of those things was the end goal, and then that's basically what I do now as well, is basically dealing with investors and help them acquire properties.
I know along the way you had like a lot of experience working with, like you mentioned, guys who were flipping or doing ad value and like construction management, etc. Like tell me a little bit about that, like, because I think that you have a much like deeper experience and understanding than the average realtor does when it comes to like the physical structure of a property.
So they say necessity is the mother of all innovations, I think, right? So basically what was going on is my clients came to me and they always would ask me if I knew a contractor.
Right.
And I always, of course, every realtor does, and they have their trusted, but let's say I live in Bowmanville, so I could potentially know guys in Bowmanville only. That means my market for investing and helping my clients invest and renovate could be only Bowmanville.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case because people are investing everywhere. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I came up with an idea where I would personally go into these markets, vet contractors myself, and bring them onto my team. But exactly, and then I build out a team. So
that's above and beyond service.
Yeah. Oh, it was that, and I felt their pain. The investors' pain was every time they acquired a good deal, they want to be at home doing this remotely and acquiring properties. Not every investor is going on, from here to Timmins, 7-hour drive just to see a property. But if you have an established team, I just wanted to be a one-stop shop for them, and that's what happened. I came up with a renovation company. Yeah. So we had our own employees, and then of course, going and subcontracting out through our community. So I have still team established all the way from Sarnia, Cornwall to Timmins, so that's where basically we transition into, and so that's what we do is, if you're an investor, you come to us, you don't have to go anywhere else. We fully, oversee your projects. We don't just, I don't know if you've ever had experience of a contractor not finishing your job.
Yeah.
Then who do you call?
Right. I don't know.
You can call me in this situation, and we can figure out who we can place after. So you don't get screwed by somebody. Yeah. We get screwed. We take the problem and solve it for you, and we can help you scale that way. Right? So that way, if you're an investor, you have properties, and especially nowadays, GT is now where you're getting cash flow. Yeah. So you have to go in different markets. Sure. We can help you with that.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, a couple more questions I want to ask. So I want to ask you about the tax side of things, then I want to ask you about the community that you live in.
Correct.
And then I want to ask you about your faith community as well.
Correct.
So we'll start with the tax side. If you work with a lot of investors, one of the biggest problems is bookkeeping, tax, etc. I know you come from a family on the tax side of things. I know you've worked pretty intimately. Like you said, you started in the financial services space. I think you still do a lot of work in the financial services space for investors. So talk to me a little bit about that, your family, etc., and how you are serving investors better than anybody else in that regard.
So I would say that background-wise, my parents, so my mother, she's a cross-border tax tax accountant. So she does basically taxes for all of Amazon employees in US that are working in US but are Canadian. So that's one practice they do. My brother's a CPA, and myself, I recently got certified to do tax preparation. So basically combined with that, we are providing bookkeeping services and accounting services, tax planning for real estate investors, realtors, and anybody else, to be honest. But we focus, since I have experience, I understand the pain points of tax real estate investors, is basically how not to, worry about capital gain tax, all these policy changes.
It's just bookkeeping, even just bookkeeping on investment properties, right? I mean, like one of the biggest operational headaches of being a real estate investor is bookkeeping.
Absolutely.
Alone,
So we plan on basically taking that on. Again, my mission statement has been, I want to be one-stop shop for investors.
Yeah.
That's simple. So whatever I can vertically open up and provide you that service. So I've already done the contracting side. I just took up on taxations and accounting.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're basically robust. And then I work at Valery, which is all AI powered, and we have Dan here and a powerhouse team. So this is all one should put our customers and clients at ease, that you just bring the money, or even if bring us deal, bring yourself here, and we can figure it out for you, and you don't have to. You can scale easily with us. That's what I'm been here for. So that's the background of the tax part, why I opened up, and I plan on doing that simultaneously with the real estate.
Nice. Okay. And now you mentioned Bowmanville when you were talking about kind of the GTA and whatever. I know you love the neighborhood you live in.
Yes.
You like selling properties for your neighbors. So tell me a little bit about your community, what you love about it, and what's going on in Bowmanville. What makes it
So what's going on is cheap home prices.
Yeah.
But
I live in one of those towns too. So.
Exactly. So I told you I started in Windsor, moved to Markham.
Yeah.
I lived in Markham quite a few years, and then moved to Mississauga. I got married. Then eventually, when I got married, I was looking for a home.
Yeah.
So it was either I pay $1 million for a townhome in Mississauga, or I pay $500,000 in Bowmanville. They both offer the same thing. Especially, I'm a Muslim, so the biggest thing was halal food, halal groceries, mosque, having that easy access to things, right? In my community, the food itself, I'm a big foodie, know that, right? So at the end of the day, that's what it was either Mississauga or Bowmanville.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have kids, I have 4 kids, all under the age of 8, so they need to go to schools.
Yeah.
All of this is part of the decision I ended up choosing Bowmanville. I'll tell you, and we'll do a deeper dive into Bowmanville, why I actually chose it, and I'll do a comparison. Yeah. I got a brand new townhome for half the price, versus almost 10 to 12-year-old or maybe 20-year-old townhome for double the price.
Yeah.
In a new community, all highly rated schools over there, and it was up and coming. So funny story is, Popeyes was halal there. So that was one of my deciding factors.
That's funny.
I was like, at least Popeyes is halal, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I was sold on that, right?
Yeah.
Because I picked communities, Ajax, Pickering, they were very congested in my opinion. Home prices are also very comparable to the West.
Yeah.
But as soon as you came to Bowmanville, nobody knew about
And
it.
how much further are you really than like you would be in Mississauga if you account for traffic?
Not
Like
right
20
now,
minutes?
just to give you an idea, I came from Bowmanville to Vaughan. Took me 1 hour, all green on the highway. So
407, no.
No, 407. This
Wow.
was 401.
Come on.
Yeah, 401. Took me about 50 minutes,
Okay.
roughly. If I lived in Mississauga and I counted for the rush hours, it would have literally been a 15-minute difference, in my opinion.
Do you ever find that if you're driving on the 401, when you get to your destination, you're in a way worse mood than if you take the 407?
It is. So
That's real.
but, yes, it is real. It is real, definitely. Because at the end
It's
of
like
the
a supplement.
It is. It is. Something. Yeah.
Like you take the 407, it's like taking like theanine or like Adderall or something.
You
know,
can quit your multivitamins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
you
expensive though.
Whatever you pay for your multivitamins and supplements, 407 it is. Yeah. And good news for everybody, by the way. Hopefully, I know people. I don't want to get too political, but I really Doug Ford for taking the initiative to make 407 free for the provincial part, because that's the big chunk for me. At least coming from Bowmanville to Pickering alone is good. I think 30 kilometers or something like that. So that alone saves me big money, and whoever is looking to move East End, that should be a silver line, like a good news for you. Also, the transit that's coming there, metro, everything's new per se in Bowmanville. So like, that's what I loved about it. Like in Mississauga, our crime rate is almost none versus Mississauga or the West End. And I want to reiterate this. A lot of people coming from Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, all these countries, and they always want to move closer to relatives. That's 100% right, and you should.
Yeah.
You know, because the family. I think I missed this part. My parents moved to Curtis, which is a neighboring town to Bowmanville, and that was another.
Takes a village, man. You got 4 kids. You
right. Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So, I feel the pain of people, but don't come in and just be in this congested. Like there are communities that serve you better than just Mississauga, Brampton. And no hate. I love Ridgeville Plaza, shout out. And like Brampton, big shout out to them. But like at the end of the day, you have to like I feel safe coming all the way here, about an hour away, and my family's there. And my wife has a Toyota Highlander, which is the most stolen vehicle, and so far nothing in Bowmanville, no stolen Highlanders yet. So please consider coming our ways. And you looking to move?
You don't have to put a gate on your put bollards in your house. You save half the price on the house, and you don't have to install a steel gate to protect your car.
Correct. So just to give you an idea, now the townhome is worth about $775.
Right. But what would the same one that you would have bought in like Markham been? Probably 1.5. So probably still half.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing. You mentioned that you're a Muslim.
Correct. Muslim. Yes.
And I just like, from my perspective, one of the strongest like ties that I think that people have with like the community is through their faith communities. I wanted to know what it means to you as like a real estate professional to serve your faith community, and like if that's a part of your business.
It is a huge part of my business. At least I want to open up. I told you I was stayed in Windsor, so I'm actually pretty multicultural in that way. I actually came in the most non-Muslim school. Like I went to a Catholic school, right? Yeah. So for me, I'm very like, doesn't matter where you come from. I'm ready to serve you. But what it means to serve our own community, I actually have worked with somebody who doesn't know about my faith and then recommend me things. And then, I could, like, let's say I was house hunting and I had a realtor who didn't know what's close to me, what makes a difference. Like, I have friends who will sacrifice on the room size, but they want to live close to the mosque. Right. Versus, let's say, living closer to a grocery store that you can. So these are, I know as a Muslim what another Muslim might value, and serving my own people in a sense. Like when I say my own people, the Muslim community per se.
And even more specifically, maybe like at your mosque. Right?
Correct.
That's a big congregation. Is that? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So Bowmanville has its own bigger mosque. Now we just opened up another mosque. So there's total 2 mosques in Bowmanville.
Like how many people would be part of that?
Like close to 1,500, 2,000. Just
crazy.
One mosque, so it serves that. So just to give you an idea, the mosque has a capacity of one Friday prayer would hold about like 100 people, 150 people. When I moved to Bowmanville, they only had one Friday prayer and half of the mosque would be filled. Just so you know, now they have to do 3 Friday prayers, 3 sessions, and they're all packed and you can never find. So just in the short period of time, we've had a lot of growth in Bowmanville because there was already established community and faith centers. That's a big thing. We
for sure.
As a father, I have a choice. My kids can do extracurricular activities in schools or like outside, and you don't know who you're going with, or the mosque offers everything there. Right. And that serves me well. Yeah, so you have basketball, you have
and the kids don't go there after school.
After school they have like classes, everything there, so they take care of your kids.
It's like a pillar of the community, right?
Pretty much. That's the essence of it. People think, like there's a certain like religion and community are two separate things. No, it's
always been that way historically. I think that like the Western world has just really like separated those two things, right?
Correct.
And kind of like, I guess like as it secularized, like really been afraid to like integrate faith into people's. I think you kind of see some of the consequences of that in society now. that too.
I've noticed a
Disconnected from
big thing when I used to be a kid in Pakistan. Every night, just so you know, like most of the activities in Pakistan happened at night because it was super hot in the day.
Right.
So as soon as sun sets, everybody came out of their houses, and we didn't have cell phones back there. So my parents trusted me and my brother to hop on a bike in Pakistan, and go all the way. I don't know where we went, but if they ever wanted to trace me, they could call somebody down the street and say, "Hey, did you just see my son pass by?"
And it was like that for me in like my small town growing up here too, right? Everybody knew each other. It was connection.
Correct. But how do you maintain that? At the moment, everybody goes to work. It's about coming out to the faith centers.
Yeah, building community. Like
so every day in the morning, like I'm supposed to go to the mosque, and I end my day at the mosque. I'm when the sun sets.
Right.
So if I'm visiting there and 100 people come for a congregation community, then I talk to the community and say, "Hey, what do you do? Can I?" Just so you know, my wife has food business. It is fully powered by community.
Right.
So she's just part of a bunch of moms and who are in Bowmanville, and they started spreading the word to Oshawa. Oshawa spread to Whitby. So now her business has gone all the way to US and UK.
No way.
Yeah, just from community. Crazy. Somebody came, their cousin came, they tried it, they moved it, and took it all the way there, right? So we're very much discounting human connection, having the community.
And I agree.
So that's, as a realtor, that's one of the things where, how to tie it back all to real estate is I'm here to build homes, but as an investor, you also want to know that people living in your community, in your homes, in your buildings, the 8-plex, the multiplex, actually enjoy living there.
I think even beyond just like an investor, it's like, as a professional in the space, one of the big things with like faith and religion is like service, right? How do you serve people? How do you serve communities? And this is like one of the unique ways that we have to serve people that we know and love in our community.
Absolutely.
With like one of the most important decisions that they'll ever make.
Correct.
Where they live, whether they're renting or owning.
Correct.
Or whether they're trying to build wealth for their family.
Yeah. So that's me, guys.
Love it.
That's me. Yeah. So hit me up anytime. I'm here. I serve Durham mainly, but because I live there, it's supposed to drive. 401. I'm not trying to drive on a 4. Once 407 is free, I will move to Markham and community and serve there. But I just, that's jokes apart. I serve all Bowmanville, Durham area, but I'm pretty open. Like I told you, I have a robust team of contractors across. I already been in those markets. My biggest markets have been North Bay and Timmins, and obvious reasons, cash flow, and then Cornwall and Sarnia. Those were my biggest, the most projects I've taken on. Right. They've been there, so I still have in place everything there. Right. I understand the construction side. I understand what to pick in your finishes. The neighborhood, if you do a walk around with me, I can actually let you know where you could save money by not overdoing your investments, underdoing your investments, what actually yields the most versus doesn't, right? Yeah. And I know I might not be local in that markets that you're looking for, but I have really good connections. That's how we came to this point.
So building
connections. Yeah, building connections.
You're very resourceful and you have a deep network.
Exactly. Yes.
Very resourceful.
Yes. That's my coach that got me into real estate investing. He said the difference between you and anybody else is we are aggregator of resources. Simple. So I live by that.
Love it.
Yeah. Cool.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. No worries.